Well, obviously, the cameras is one of the most important components, and I'm not talking about cameras here that are highly, highly sophisticated or very, very expensive. You can do extraordinary work with cameras that are not terribly sophisticated and that are not terribly expensive. In fact, in some instances, it's better to have cameras that are not terribly expensive and sophisticated, because those cameras can break down much more easily in some of the rough conditions that the guys like who cover the things that I cover often encounter. So the camera is essential. And it doesn't always have to be the best and the most expensive, but it's essential. And with the camera, you really have to have, and a lot of people forget about this, but you have to have appropriate sound capacity. And by that, I mean you've got to have 2 separate channels of sound that are accessible with XLR connections. Those are those 3-prong connections, which are stable and dependable connections to the camera. A good a set of microphones, one that's mounted on the camera, one that's a wireless. Obviously, you have to have a laptop computer with you, and it's got to be a Macintosh, because Macintosh is compatible with Final Cut, or Final Cut is compatible with Macintosh. And finally, you have to have a decent backpack to put all this stuff into. And this really is backpack journalism. Everything that you need out there to execute the craft has got to fit into that backpack. You have to have a facility with Adobe Photoshop, and Adobe Photoshop is kind of the basis for all of these editing programs that deal with visuals. And of course, Final Cut Pro, which gives you the ability to manipulate and manage both visuals and sound. With those 2 programs, you're pretty much set. I think the rules for backpack journalism, in this sense, the rules for backpack journalism apply to most of the other fields of journalism as well. Particularly if you're out there and you're a freelancer and you're just starting in the field, you really have to think about audience. I mean, you know, people have these great ideas. I'm going to do this great documentary about such and such a thing. The first thing you have to think of is, where is this thing going to go? Who do I want to see this? And that, your audience, once you decide on who your audience is going to be, that will dictate so much about your project. It will dictate how much time you give to it. It will dictate how you shoot the thing. It will dictate how you approach it. It'll tell you many, many things about how you're going to execute your idea.